Hey Zook family, it's Sunday afternoon. Definitely the highlight of my week, catching up with my guy over in Vegas. We had an amazing chat with Jose last week. I really enjoyed myself. I'm going to grow out my hair just to get the opportunity to have it cut by him. And we're looking forward in the coming weeks to Ron introducing us to more and more personnel. But this week is a chat with a good friend of mine, Daan, who is the manager of Mark Sixma. He's also the guy that guided Mark not just through the music industry, but into e-gaming as well. So a lot we can learn this week. Ron, do you see a lot of comparisons between music and the esports arena?
Yeah, more and more we're starting to see it in the States. I would say that esports had a huge kind of surgence of popularity of probably over, I would say, the last 2 years, definitely over the last 12 months. And I think during the period of quarantine, I think it's even seen a lot more growth. A lot of people not only engaging in gaming, but obviously utilizing the Twitch platform as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that synergy and connection continues to grow.
But it's really fascinating because I know that around the time of the Super Bowl and around the time of the All-Star games, the NBA and NFL will invite players to play console games. So there's like a Super Bowl weekender where they play Madden, and the same with the NBA games. That's pretty much fascinating that the players themselves will engage in this because they know the fan base is so strong.
Yeah, it's become a hugely popular thing, and it's obviously in this digital world we live in, it gets heightened because now you have these athletes that have such a crazy social presence and identity that they're going out and they're kind of they're bantering with each other and they're creating curiosity. And then as a fan, you're trying to figure out who's winning. You're trying to watch it live. And it's crazy to think that we've gone from a position of watching live sports to saying, I want to watch these two athletes play a video game. But because there's personalities behind it as well, you get engaged and essentially don't turn away. And honestly, it's even myself, who was somewhat of I was questioning, I guess you would say I was questioning my even attention span or interest in it. It's now, to your point, when Super Bowl comes around or any type of fan fest that's being put on around one of the major sports and the guys are doing it from an esports perspective, it's really compelling, amazing to watch. And there's so many interactive layers with it now. It makes you feel like you're part of it.
So two of my nephews, Sean and Evan, watch Fortnite games when we link up in Hong Kong, and they've introduced me to this world that I never knew really existed before, that you'll watch other people play. And we hosted ESL here in Resorts World Genting, the Electronic Sports League, and it was a huge turnout, sellout very fast, 3 days intense competition. The prize money is huge. So I think this is something, especially I know when Zoo Vegas comes around, you guys will obviously be dipping into that arena because it's a huge thing over in Vegas.
Yeah, there's actually a few major casino resorts that actually have dedicated spaces for esports now. One of the things too, and when we talk about the connection between entertainment talent and esports, I would say that probably 7 out of 10 DJs are in their room gamings at this point. Like, you go up to pick up the artist or you go up to interact, and they're sitting there playing video games and they're on Fortnite. They're playing online, like, NBA 2K or Madden, and it's crazy. And again, it becomes another type of social type of interaction. It's a very different one. You've got a DJ who's about to go perform for 5,000 people, and you walk up to the room, and it's him and 6 of his friends that are playing a game, and they're playing against another team online, and it's just a really different type of interaction. But again, I think it shows how far esports and gaming has come.
Well, one interesting topic you've just crossed is diversity, and that's going to be the topic we're going to pick up with Daan. So let's go ahead and meet him. I'm super pleased to bring in a guy who really understands diversity and pivoting at this difficult time. Daan Biemans, how are you, my friend?
Good day. Yeah, I'm very good. I mean, although, I needed to stay at home for the last couple of months, like everybody, I feel energetic. We're doing good. We use the COVID-19 thing as a positive thing. So yeah, feeling good.
So Daan, Ronn, to give you an introduction, is not just manager of Mark Sixma, who's a big trance name, but also has entrepreneurial background. It's very well connected in the field of esports as well. So Daan, do you want to give us a little bit of a background into what you've been doing with Mark during the MCO, and especially focusing on how you've diversified during this time?
Yeah, sure. So thanks again for having me on board. Just let's kick off with that. So maybe to start, Mark and I know each other for more than 2 decades. So we were like best friends since high school. We played tennis together, and I think that's an important thing because our relationship is built on trust and loyalty. And the last, let's say, 17 years, I had my own businesses. I still have them. Did my own career things, and I followed Mark as a friend, as a proud friend. And then a couple of years ago, we started to speak more and more about the business, and in the end, made the decision, let's work together and to have a fundament that's built on trust and loyalty, and not on financial motivation. I think that's a very powerful one. And also, because I came from another industry. I mean, I don't have a huge background in the music industry or the dance industry. I have a background in the software industry, and I used to be a teacher actually in the beginning of my career. I bring something else besides the trust and the loyalty. I bring another way of looking at things, another perspective, another kind of network. I like the fact that somebody says no. That's giving me like extra motivation to do stuff. So having Mark as the highly trained, experienced music producer, performer, well skilled, me as a more entrepreneurial and very good guy, and as I can say that about myself in stakeholder management, I think I can really manage stakeholders. And then also have V, as you know, Joe V. Bonava as part of the team, who has her own skill set as well. I mean, we have a super good team. Very diverse, but also, Mark and I come from the same city. So I think it's a combination of trust, loyalty, diversity, having a good skill set, and basically also have the same dream. And we have a good team, I'm just very happy. I'm just very happy about the whole team. Yeah.
Let's focus on this period of lockdown, the first time in our lifetimes that this has ever happened, where all businesses have been shut. I mean, Ron and I have really pivoted Zook from an online club business with bars, restaurants, to not just these kind of Zook digital interviews, but live streams and mixes, but also takeaway food and delivery food from Fuhu, make it at home, cocktails from Fuhu. We've tried to really pivot. Ron, in your career, how much drastic change have you had to live through in this industry? Because I know you're a guy who has various skill sets. You're a marketeer, but you also understand operations. You understand the difference between sales, but also PR. Well, where do you see the value in being a multi-skilled operator, especially at a time like now?
Well, I think the toughest things at an earlier part of my career was, I think, adapting to change. I think when I was younger, I think that was probably one of the, I guess you would say, deficiencies, or if I identified as a weakness, was at an early age, it was like anytime there was kind of opposition or change, I think I handled it very negatively. And the truth is over the last 10 years, I've kind of evolved and grown. And I really thank a lot of the people I work with, because I think learning from them is where it really helped me excel. In this position we're in right now, I think that, I would say 99% of every business entity globally has been affected by this. It's very hard to not find a kind of a vertical of business that hasn't been affected. And the fact that the ability to pivot and be open-minded during this period of time and saying, hey, how do I find the means of restarting the engine or bouncing business back, I think is super important. I got to be honest with you, 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. I probably wouldn't even some of the things we're doing now, which I think are pretty easily to transition to, and some are a little bit more difficult. It would have been very hard for me at that stage of my career. And I'm seeing how younger people in our industry are dealing with this. And I think there's a lot of feelings involved in that, because again, to your point, it's the first time any of us have experienced this in our lifetime, and hopefully it's the only time we'll ever experience it. But everyone's handling it in a very different way. I talk to people who have, been in this industry a few years with the same company, and now they're kind of sitting in this furlough or sitting on the sidelines, and they don't know how to adapt through it.
Interesting. Now, Dan will be able to comment further, but I look at Mark as quite a visionary, because a lot of DJs, it's very easy to live stream. It's very easy to jump on Facebook. But Mark was one of the first to pioneer into Twitch. But Mark's also an avid e-gamer and stays in touch with fans from there. So Dan, Mark's been looking at multiple angles to reach out to the client base during this time, correct?
That's correct, and that's also when I stepped in 2 years ago. I told them, this is a business. I mean, for the three of us, this is a normal, quote, but it isn't. I mean, it's a business, treat it like a business. So the first thing we did is, I asked some of my friends, let's make analyze Mark. Who is he? What's his DNA? And we found out that Mark has 3 core elements. He is a very good producer. I mean, I can say that with a lot of proudness. He's a very good performer. You were on stage together with him in Zouk. He's a friend of the Zouk family for many years already. But he's also a European champion in gaming. When he was younger, but he was, he did it with a team. And so I thought, okay, so we have 3 aspects, producer, performer, and the gamer. Let's build, small brands, part of the bigger Mark Sigma brand around that. Why? Because sometimes something will happen. I was thinking about when we had something, I think it's like 4 years ago, that planes couldn't fly because of the volcano in Iceland. Of course, sometimes, unfortunately, we have some terrorist attacks and effects. So that was my scenario thinking. And also because it's fitting Mark, we said, okay, let's make good partnerships for the producing part, with Armada, our label, Cloud9, but also Fader Pro. And then, you invest one day, you make a cool video, it's an online masterclass, and you can share it. It's evergreen content. For performing issues, I told them, it's not only about the live act anymore. When we were younger, and I came from the same city as Chesto and Hardwell, so we were really in the beginning of the industry. The DJ was just in the back of the pub or the club. You didn't see the guy, and then he was turning around, and then some lights came to the DJ, and now the DJ is in the middle of the center. But now, so the whole concepting thing and the experience is getting much more important. So I thought we need to think about that, and then the gaming thing. That's part of your DNA, Mark. It's something you do to relax when you're on tour, something you really like. So actually, in the beginning of 2020, thanks to Armada, we came in touch with a big gaming studio based in LA. And they reached out to us because they wanted to work with, other people than only gaming influencers. There was an easy, a question for me. And I think we were lucky because we made all the deals in February 2020. And then COVID-19 came, and we use it as an advantage because we had our deal with Twitch. We had an extra team member called Koen as part of the team. We call him the streaming guru because we knew someday we need to be, we need to have a bigger presence online. So having said that, 2 years ago, we decided, okay, we have 2 main parts. And then, you need to see when is the time, to step in. And obviously producing and performing was already going great. But we made some changes and decisions there as well. And the gaming we picked it up with the whole COVID-19. And I think, fans like it. Personally, I like it as well, because normally on social media, you give a like or a comment, so it's not real time. And maybe Ronn, as a marketing expert as well, knows a little bit about that. But with Twitch or other platforms, which are real time, people can actually instantly react to Mark and vice versa. And man, you see the interaction and people coming back and then posting that on other social media platforms. I really like it. Besides, obviously the heavy and negative things of COVID-19, every downside has its ups. So yeah.
I want to push it back to Ronn a bit. I mean, I say this in modesty because I didn't realize it, but Ronn told me that a lot of the other players in Vegas were impressed with the efforts that Zouk were making to transform digital to brand communicate. Ronn, let me ask you a question. Why do you think so many brands were so slow to pivot at the beginning of COVID-19?
I got to be honest. When I look at the competition in Las Vegas, I think that one, I don't think anyone expected the length, the period of time. So I think that they were kind of thinking, all right, this is a 30-day period, and I think that in the industry here, as competitive as it is, it kind of got to be almost like a global timeout for nightlife. And I think a lot of them looked at that and said, hey, we're going to take this 30 days and we're going to kind of chill. And even when I talk to people who work for these companies and you hear about that first 30 days, a lot of them said they're like, no, I didn't do anything today. We had one video meeting this week, but there was no type of structure where we weren't doing anything. And it was crazy to me because like, I think like, I mean, we went on, obviously we were in a very different situation with the property in Vegas and going through construction, but even with the teams overseas, there wasn't a day off. Like, I mean, things shut down and we already were adapting and creating pivots and trying to create these kind of future revenue verticals. And truthfully, I remember having a conversation with you and it was like, we were probably 40 days in to the quarantine period in Las Vegas before I saw another club that was starting to activate with content. And to me, it was kind of crazy because when you look at the scale and size of these teams in comparison to the Zook team, it's kind of crazy. And again, there's a lot of resources and there's a lot of people that were sitting at home and politely off the record, a lot of people were still getting paid. And they weren't really putting a lot of effort into really doing anything and saying, hey, like, what can I do to kind of like, at least, I think we talked about it before. If you can't build revenue right now, build audience, right? It's a great position to actually put content out there and build audience that in the future is now a revenue potential. And these guys kind of sat. And, when I look at it, even now when I'm seeing the way that they're putting out content, it feels forced. Like it feels very check the box. Like they're seeing other people doing it and they're saying, well, wait a second, we're the clubs in Las Vegas. We need to be on the forefront, and they're doing it without passion. And you're seeing it in the way they're doing it. But yeah, it was a very proudful moment when I started seeing a lot of the Las Vegas clubs after seeing what was being done by Zoo try to emulate that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it is flattering. I mean, it's not why we do it. We do it to stay in touch because we've got a 28-year-old base that we're trying to talk to. We've got people who are in their 50s who've been a Zook regularly, so it's fantastic to know that it makes an impact. But it's more important that we stay in touch with the community. I mean, this is something I was saying, Dan, that Mark has done brilliantly well. So let me ask you. You talk about the last 4 years, Dan. How have you seen a change in the global pattern from a management perspective? Mark travels a lot. Tours Asia, tours around the world. How have you seen the shift? Because both of you will have seen it from different angles. I mean, Ronn was definitely a pioneer in Vegas, was one of the first guys to bring huge names. I'm talking about chain smokers, David Guetta, Cardi B. These are colossal names, and you'll have seen it from a management perspective. How have you seen the change? And also, Dan, I want to touch on something that Ronn and I are passionate about that you've mentioned to me before, about the treatment of acts and management when you get to venues, because it's not always good. Some people just treat you as revenue generators. I just want you to touch on both of those, the globalization and also the personal touches with treatment.
Can I start with the personal stuff? I think that's the important, because I do it from passion, and I think Ron mentioned that as well, like, and you as well, Joe. That's how we met each other outside the main entrance at Zoo Kenting. That's already a sign, that you wait there, because we feel we're not going to do a show over an hour. No, we're going to give everything we have, and we travel, the two of us, because with two of us more than alone, and you can do more. Big difference, I think, in Asia. In generally, the hospitality, people are more warmer, more hospitality. I think it's tough to say. It's dependent, but I see. In Asia, people are, very happy that you come and that you take the time. So they are much more, wanted to meet you as a person. In some areas, you just, do your thing. We make money together with you. That's it. We have a contract. That's it. I even have discussions about that. I want to have 2 extra beers and need to pay. I mean, what are we talking about, right? And me, I'm pretty down to earth, and I think mellow guy. And so for me, and also for Mark, the friends but also the family feeling is very important. We have a festival here in Europe. We go there every year for the last couple of years, but it's organized by volunteers, and they even treat Mark's parents like if they come over, or his sister or friends. So it's really the family feeling that's really important, which I really like with the Soup Family initiative. From the change in the, let's say, the global change in the last couple of years, what I was saying, I think, the whole DJ concept changed from being a guy in a bar hitting the play button to, okay, let's give this person a little bit more of attention. This is not a person, it's also an act. They're bringing actually friends, and those people are spending money. Let's pay this person a little bit of money into, these are the big superstars. So I think that the whole, from being a person to a act to a concept. So I think we're in the concept phase right now. For me personally, and I'm very curious what Zook is doing in Las Vegas. Obviously, I'm following all the talks you guys do, but I see the extra layer of online coming there. So that's why I really love the part of gaming, esports, streaming. I really see that coming to be a part of the lifestyle. So I think that's a huge change that will happen in the next couple of years, and COVID-19 is just accelerating this. Another thing what I see is another kind of influencing. So I don't see that. I think that we have longer too. So instead of just come in, do your show, go out, we stay a little bit longer, like we had with you. So you can see the area, you can show and learn about what is happening in this region. You can give something back, like you can meet fans, but not for 10 minutes, but have like actually a lunch or a dinner or a barbecue. Or I think fans really appreciate that if you spend a little bit more time, but also from an act and a management perspective, to interact with your global fans, that's in a personal way as well. That's super powerful. And then I think we are going to do like more of a masterclass, a workshop. You and I have a challenge. We're going to hike next time I'm coming to Genting. I mean, all those kind of small things will create, in my opinion, another kind of influence. Because I had the discussion with Mark when COVID-19 came. Obviously, we were saying stay home, stay safe, but we did. For 9 weeks, we stayed at home. And I see that in the future as well. So what I see is another kind of influence. I see that concepting, the online and offline combination, will be much more important. And from a personal perspective, I hope to see that the hospitality and the family feeling is going to be even bigger, because it is there, it's everywhere. But I think that's also standing you as a promoter out from the crowd, because in the end, it's not only about the money. It's a result of having a great time, working with a great team, and having goosebumps. And then, the money will follow.
So Ron, what about you? How much have you seen a shift in the global change? And also the personal touch. I know you're an expert at the personal touches. We discussed it many times. That's how you forge such strong relationships, such a good reputation. I mean, you're the workout buddy of various DJs, and you spend a lot of quality time, because a lot of these guys, and you'll know this, Dan, because you chaperone Mark, but I've had lunches and dinners with different people who have turned around and on a Sunday after a show and just wanted to talk about life, because they've been in a different city for the last 20 weeks straight, and they've had no one to talk to, and they're in different time zones, so they can't FaceTime their friends. So how have you seen that shift, Ron?
It really goes back to everything that we're saying, that it's creating those human connections. I mean, you get it. You guys are on the road, and when you get to a place, you want to feel comfortable there. You know what I mean? So these kind of connections are a very important part of it. The sad part about Vegas is, over the last decade, there was so much competition, and there was so much competition for artists that, again, there became supply and demand, and with that, there became an increase in rates. And that's not the artist's fault. The artist is coming there to do a show. They want to be in the marketplace, and because there was all of these groups buying, it raised the opportunity. And it was weird, because I sat there and I watched some of the corporations now almost have this really weird personal effect towards the artists and their teams. And all of a sudden, there was kind of elimination of different hospitality things that were going on. And, for me, my thing was, look, like on the years that we were making a lot of money on the artists, we gave them everything they wanted. There was never a no. And then all of a sudden, as the margins started to dissipate, because of competition, because of competitive rates, all of a sudden it was like going back to the well and asking for something that would routinely happen was now, it was like an issue. And it made it very hard, I think, not just for myself, but a lot of people in the industry from a hospitality perspective to really give that type of touch to the artist and the artist management team. I think, and I think I've said it before, one of my goals in Las Vegas is I want to bring that feeling back. I want the artists and their management teams, when they're on property, I want them to be excited about coming to Vegas again, because right now they're not. When I talk to a lot of artists and their teams, it's gotten to the point, because of the decline in that personal connection and touch, they're picking up a paycheck. They're coming in, and because they care about the fans, they're putting on an amazing show, but it's show, back to room, and then what time are we leaving tomorrow? And I remember in the, I don't want to say the glory days, but in the days where there was that touch point on hospitality, you would have guys come in for 4 days. They're doing one show, but they're coming in for 4 days because they wanted to be there. They wanted to be part of the culture. They enjoyed hanging out with the team. The artist felt great coming in on the off night and seeing someone else's show in the space. And that was a great feeling. And, one of the goals is I'm hoping is that I can provide that type of experience, because it's a void right now. And I think obviously as a marketer and someone who likes to be strategic, it's how do I find a void and how do I replace that void with a great experience? And I think that's something that's really been lost right now in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Ron, you really touched on a nice point. Like Rehab, when he did the grand launch for Zook, came here for 4 days, and you take him to the Void to play VR. We took him for steak and stuff, and you really get to bond. And then that's where the long-lasting relationships come. And you told me a crazy story, and I'm not going to mention names, of one of the biggest draws in Vegas who will fly in from LA. He'll do the show, and he won't even wait to shower. He'll go straight back to a jet to take him back to LA the same night. And that's nuts, because there are people who may have flown, across the states to watch him. So it's a massive shame that if that is the case. But as you say, this reclassification of where we stand now should lead to people being more appreciative and putting more effort.
But what's crazy? So I used to, that situation always used to play on me. But I'm going to be honest, the more I think about it, I think a lot of that is because of the experience he's being provided. Think about it. If he felt comfortable at the property he's at, if he felt great with the people around him, it's Vegas. 5 years ago, he's staying probably 3 days. So it just kind of shows you, again, it shows you that the artists and their teams right now are like, look, let's go get the bag in Vegas, but we don't want to hang out. And, my goal is, especially with a brand new property, I hope these guys are staying 4 or 5 days, because I really, especially in the beginning, I want them to feel not just part of the venue. I want them to feel like they're part of the property. But to do that, we have to offer that experience, right?
It's also, if I can address, I think it's also the mindset of the artist and the team. So I think I fully agree, Ron, but it's the combination. So also as a management, you need to be open for that. So don't see it as a paycheck only. For me, that's the result of something. So Mark, is telling me that, Daan, I'm so honored and I'm humbled that I can travel the whole world. But please provide me with an extra day or two. Make it happen, so I can see a little bit of the region. So one of the the trends I'm seeing is new kind of influencers. Stay longer, feel at home. Come back more regularly. Like Joe and I. We going to on a hike the next time. That's an online deal we have. So I think it's you need to offer the hospitality, but also it's the artist and the management team that needs to be flexible in that way as well. And you can start at 1 a.m. but if the crowd is still coming in, wait for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. But in the end, it's all about stakeholder management, in my opinion. Be open, share, the targets basically, because you are running a business as well. I'm running a business as well. If you be transparent, you share your target, your feeling, your passion, I feel that we can do so much more, and we can ask you, Ron, we're coming in. Are you providing us some super strong Wi-Fi? Because, we want to do some live streaming. We want to show the green room. instead of coming there and bullying at you or one of your teammates. Like, yeah, we need to have good Wi-Fi. No, be transparent, share your own vision and mission, and then we can do so much more.
I got to ask you, Dan, before we cut off, I mean, first of all, thanks for spending the time. It's been awesome to catch up with you. I mean, I speak to you regularly, but it's great to be in touch.
Of course, my pleasure.
And then you've leaned down a lot, man. I guess you've been keeping fit during MCO.
Well, the good thing is, this has been a while, and I've been at home for 3 months already. I think my last trip was in LA, beginning of March. So yeah, I do a lot of walk and talk, as I say. So as of course this meeting I needed to stay in my office, but after this meeting I go out, have a call with Singapore. But I'm just walking. So and I trimmed my hair, so I think that's giving me at least 500 grams of advantage. But I'm feeling healthy, eating healthy. Life on the road can be a little bit unhealthy. You and I talked about it, but I also strongly feel if I share this with you, it's not only about drinking beers together, it's about being humans, and then speak. And I'm following all the Zook family talks, so I know that Ronn is the fitness guru as well. So next time I'm in Vegas, I will ask him to join me, show me a good gym as well. But no, it's keeping physically and also mentally feeling fit, keeping fit. I mean, that's so important for everybody, also for the fans at home watching this. Do a workout, watch. Probably Zook will have some cool playlists with, workouts. I see the videos with the yoga, and I try it, but I'm not so flexible, so will not share that experience. But keep up the good work. And again, Joe and Ronn. I mean, I only know Ronn from the videos, but I know Joe and also Wayne and the teams from Zook. Really, really good teams. Well diverse, well skilled. So keep up the good work, and I hope to meet you soon in person.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you make it to Vegas, we're gonna do a hike here.
Yeah, we love that. That's the deal.
Well, Dan, thanks so much, man. It's been a pleasure. We loved your insight into various things. We look forward to what Mark's doing. Where can people keep up with what Mark's doing, especially in the e-games? Right? I mean, he'll have music fans that can find him online, but what about the e-games? Where can we read?
He's streaming via Twitch, but the best platform to keep up to date is Instagram. Instagram/Mark6ma. Follow him. And then, every day he will share an update about new music, new club mixes. I mean, there's a lot of new music coming out. We do a demo drop. What is it today? We have gaming tonight on Sundays. Sunday Fun Day. We have a Team 6 game team with fans. So you join Mark and his team and you play several kind of games. So follow his Instagram, and then he will redirect you to every platform that's out there.
Thanks very much. Once again, thanks for your time, Dan. We can't wait to see you over on this side of the world, Ronn on the other side of the world, and we'll be in touch soon.
For sure. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Pleasure tonight, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So it was really interesting to meet Dan, a new contact for the books and so on. I'm sure you'll be seeing when he comes over to Vegas. And Ronn, what's been happening over in Vegas very quickly? And next week we've got Zen Freeman as the DJ to meet on Tuesday. So tell us a bit of what you've been up to in Vegas, but also please let us know about what to expect on Tuesday night.
Vegas is finding interesting ways. I keep calling it restarting the engine, and they're finding ways of doing that. They're finding ways of trying to keep the safest environments possible. When you walk into the casinos now, they're putting a lot of different protocols in play, a lot of communication, front-facing and pre-marketing communication to make you feel safe. But also to create awareness. Obviously, part of being safe, it goes to self-awareness. It goes to me taking the proper precautions, walking into a space, and creating that distance needed to make other people feel comfortable. Zen's an amazing guy. I mean, Zen. I've known Zen for years. Zen is, in my mind, he's one of the coolest DJs. And it was funny story. I've been on a lot of different photo and video shoots and campaign shoots. And years ago, when I first met Zen Freeman, was on a photo shoot, and he was the guy that our team was most intimidated by. And if you know Zen's background, Zen is, a DJ, a producer, but Zen has ties in the fashion world. And this was a guy who's done stuff for Burberry and all these different luxury brands. And I remember we Googled them and we saw some of the stuff that came up, and the team instantly went to, it was a little bit of intimidation. It's funny. I actually recently told him that story, and, to him, I think he thought it was kind of funny that the team was a little bit intimidated walking into that shoot. But honestly, Zen's an amazing person, an amazing human being, amazing father, and really amazing DJ producer, and just honestly a great guy. It's always good to sit down and talk to friends as we do each week. So again, it was one of these talks was very special to me.
Hey, well, I'm very excited. I've actually seen a live stream from Zen at the very beginning. You recommended him to me, and he had this very cool disco ball setup. And one thing I was really impressed with was the amount of interaction his set was getting, and it was like a stay-at-home set. I'd heard of Zen long before you recommended him, but I never had the chance to really enjoy it. And that's one of the bonuses of these mixes that you're providing us with, is that we can let people listen firsthand. Whereas I guess before then we didn't know how to do that unless we could go to a show. But I can't fly to LA tomorrow. I'm on the other side of the planet. So it's great for us to get this chance, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great. I'm excited. And Joe, always great speaking with you. And also it was great speaking to Daan tonight. So it was really awesome night.
One last thing, you've got a couple of special guests up your sleeve. I know that you've got a former butler of P. Diddy around the corner waiting for a conversation with us, correct?
Right. Yeah, he's going to be joining us on Creative Conversations. Really great friend. Honestly, he might be, and obviously I'm a little biased, he might be one of the most interesting men in the world. I mean, he's dabbled in so many different, I guess you would say, so many different, I didn't want to say businesses, so many different adventures. It really is adventures with him. So excited to bring him on and have a good conversation with us.
Hey man, I can't wait. But first of all, you go to bed. It's late for you. You got a family waiting for you. Thanks again, Ron. Always love it. Looking forward to the next one. And stay safe.
You too, brother. Enjoy. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you next week.